each and every one of you for being here today. The reason you're here is because you have whether been affected by wrongful convictions, you have a loved one that's serving prison for crimes they did not commit, or you're wanting to become an acknowledged citizen to learn how these issues happen and what we can do as citizens of our state and our country to stop this. As of today's date, there has been 1,133 exonerations in the past 24 years. That's about 47 a month, or 47 a year and almost 4 a month. There have been 142 death row survivors. The reason that we have this march is to bring awareness to these issues. Our personal awareness began on January 15th, 2009, when our son was convicted for a crime that never happened. He was convicted despite exculpatory DNA evidence. 5 eyewitnesses who were there who knew no crime had been committed, and proof of us being there via a visa statement. But the jurors were allowed to eat with the victim and family. 3 jurors slept during the defense testimony, and they were allowed to stand outside and smoke with the victims. We immediately filed for a mistrial, and it was denied without a hearing, as if to say, screw you, we don't care, you're going to prison. Our son was offered a plea if he had admitted guilt for a crime that he did not commit. Had he have pled, he would have received an 18 to 24-month sentence. Because he would not play the games with the justice system, he is now serving a 16-year sentence for a crime that never happened. When he went to prison, he was 29 years old, and we are now in our 5th year. Why are we here? Because we need to stand out, we need to speak up, and we need everyone to realize we'd never ever thought that this could happen to us, but it did. Many here never thought it could happen to them, but it did. So we need to be aware. We need to understand what the justice system truly is. In our own state, we have caught judges that have been indicted for kids for cash scandals. We have judges that have been imprisoned for crimes, senators, chiefs of police. These are the people that we entrusted to uphold the law. If we cannot trust those that we have voted into power to uphold the law, then who can we trust? We can trust ourselves to bring awareness, to march to Capitol Hill as we did in February, to ask for legislation to change on these issues. The impact of wrongful conviction just doesn't affect those that have been incarcerated. It's so far spread, and it affects all family, friends, and loved ones who support those that are wrongfully convicted. As we stand here today, you will see parents, husbands, wives, brothers, nephews, dads, moms, all that are hurting because their family member has been put in a prison for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We're not talking about crimes that, oh, well, I was there, but, you know, I didn't touch the gun, or we're talking about we did not do this at all. So why are we in prison? This is what we need everyone in our country to realize. When a wrongful conviction occurs, the expenses are exorbitant. It's not just the court fees that you have to pay, it's the attorney fees, it's the telephone calls. For us right now, for our son to call us for 15 minutes is $7. $7 for a 15-minute call. That's ridiculous. I can call Arizona and not have to pay that fee. But because we're in the court system, which we now call the money scam, we have to pay the phone bills, we have to pay travel expenses, commissary expenses, attorney fees, visiting fees. The expenses doesn't end. Many have gone through everything that they ever saved or had hoped to save just so that they can fight for this wrongful conviction. In our state, we are thankful that we have made some impact. We have things such as the Pennsylvania Innocence Project. We have the Duquesne University Post-Conviction DNA Project and the Advisory Committee on Wrongful Convictions, who are working to have reform such as eyewitness identification, coerced and false confessions, the need for better public defense, prosecutorial misconduct, post-conviction relief, and compensation. As it stands today in our state, there is no compensation when you are exonerated. You can spend many, many years in prison and you're given the clothes on your back and an open door. Not even a thank you, not even I'm sorry, nothing. That has to stop. You've taken away these people's livelihoods. You've taken away their ability to earn an income. You've taken away their ability to pay into Social Security. And then when they come out, what do they say? Where have they been for 17 years? How are they supposed to get a job? Since wrongful convictions inmates are executed, we stand with the Witness to Innocence group for abolishment of the death penalty. As of today's date, 142 have been exonerated that were on death row. Troy Davis, an innocent man who claimed his innocence for 20 years, was executed. One of his last letters was quoted as saying, "Remember, I am in a place where execution can only destroy your physical form, but because of my faith in God, my family, and all of you, I have been spiritually free for some time, and no matter what happens in the days, weeks to come, this movement to end the death penalty, to seek true justice, to expose a system that fails to protect the innocent, must be accelerated." This is why we're here today. To seek true justice, expose an imperfect justice system, and to work towards reform that will bring our justice system back in line with truth and honesty. Go home and Google wrongful convictions. You'll be amazed at what you find. Mainstream media is starting to get it by reporting stories of wrongful convictions. Movies have been made, weekly shows are aired, 48 Hours, 2020, many are starting to see the light. Every single day our son is in prison is another day of his life lost that can never ever be regained, one he'll never get back, one that he should be free enjoying his young life. We thought this was rare. How very wrong we were. It is our hopes that by you being here today, you will learn of the issues, you will become an informed juror, you won't just believe that because a conviction occurred that they are guilty. Over 1,100 exonerations show you they are not all guilty. Today you will hear from Terrell Johnson. Terrell spent 17 years of his young life in prison for a crime he did not commit at the age of 19. 17 years at the age of 19, and in October, Terrell was exonerated, is now here today to speak out about wrongful convictions. Let's welcome Terrell Johnson.
I just want to say that if it's not for people standing up, had it not been for people standing up on my behalf, there's no way in the world that I would be here. There's no, I ain't pulling my shirt down, woman. But my family and my community stood up and they let the powers that be, the district attorneys, the police, the judges, they let all these people know that they had the wrong person and they didn't care. They decided that without knowing me, without knowing anything about my background, that the best place for me was sitting in the penitentiary for the rest of my life for a crime I'm sure they know I didn't commit. I don't know how many people actually know the story or know what the situation is, man, but there's no way in the world that I should have spent the last 17 years of my life in prison. It shouldn't be that easy for your life to just be taken away from you. If we as a society just goes for this, if we just accept this as the way that it is, so what? He must have done something. Then there's going to be more people that just die in jail. They come into our communities, man, and it's not a white or a black thing, man. It's a power thing. It's what they feel like they can get away with whenever they choose to. They think that they can just take our kids and lock them up. So what? And like she said, it comes down to the money that you spend trying to right the wrong. It shouldn't be that way. There's no way in the world, man, that somebody can just come into your house and take your child away and make him defend his freedom, him or her. Because there are a lot of females that are in prison right now for stuff that they didn't do. But when you get to talking about, oh, I'm innocent, people turn a deaf ear to that. There's no way in the world. You must have done something in order for them to come and put them handcuffs on you. And I'm telling you, from experience, from what I know, that's not true. It's not true. But at the point where they put the handcuffs on you, when they put them handcuffs on you, your freedom has been taken away at that point. It's no longer about justice. It's about what you can prove versus what they can prove. That's what it comes down to. So you're sitting in these courtrooms and 99% of society is ignorant to what the law is really saying. I've talked to lawyers. When the law changes, they're not even up on what's going on. They have to go and do research. That's bad. This is the person that's supposed to be defending your freedom, and they're not up on everything that the law is saying. So you sit, and your life is in this person's hands. Well, it's a boys' club. It's a club. This is what they do, day in and day out. The business of justice. That's what it comes down to. It's not about, oh, this is a free society. Get that out your head. That's not real. That's not real. This is not some free society where everybody just gets to go about their life. When they decide to change your situation, they will. Flat out, that's just what it is. How do we change that? I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. Because if it wasn't for my family, my friends, and people that I've never met in my life fighting for me, there's no way in the world that I would be here right now. The plan for me in my life, based on somebody else's wrongs, was for me to die in jail. That's it. I'm supposed to be laying in a bunk right now, waiting for them to call yard movement and them serving some trash up on the child line. That was it for my life. And when I'm going into the counselors and they're asking me, yo, how much time are you doing? And I'm telling them, you want me to tell you what the judge said? Because I'm not staying here for the rest of my life. They're looking at me like I'm retarded. Like, what do you mean? It says on paper that you're doing life without parole. And I tell them, no, you're doing life without parole because I'm going home. I'm not putting no sheets on this bed. I'm not wearing no pajamas, no robes, no slippers. I'm wearing these browns. This is what I had when I came in, and I'm leaving out. I'm not getting comfortable here. But they don't believe that because consistently, time after time, people die in jail. It's a business. And I know y'all have heard it many times. It's a business. They're not going to just stop doing business. I don't know how to change it. We're not going to stop having lawyers. We're not going to stop having judges. We're not going to, like, people ask me, are they going to compensate you? And I ask them, is the district attorney who tried my case, who made the deal with this woman to get my life taken away, is she somehow going to be monetarily affected? Is she going to lose her job? Is she going to lose her pension? Is anything going to happen to her? Because absent that, they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. If I file a suit against the Pennsylvania, the DA is not going to be affected by that. Not one iota. Nothing is going to happen to her. So what is it worth? 17 years, man. 17. Many of y'all have never been outside of y'all lives at all. It's been smooth sailing. Y'all have had some bumps in the road, but you've been out here. I've been in there for 17 years. There's no dollar amount on that. There's no dollar amount for your freedom. It should have never been taken away from you. I watched my children grow up in the penitentiary visiting rooms. And now I got to deal with the angers and the frustrations that come from me not being there. They can't account for that. Money can't satisfy that. When my child was going through growing pains and their mom died and they needed me, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. There was nothing I can do. Yeah, my wife would bring them up on visits and I would sit them on my lap and I would try to comfort them, but I wasn't there. They would say to me, Johnson, visits up. Visits up. And we're left with that. They gotta go. What could I do? What could I do? What could have been done different? I was living my life, minding my own business. This woman got in trouble and decided that she didn't want to pay for her crimes. So she goes to the police and tells them, yeah, I know who killed this person, and from that point on, my life changed. At the point where she said that out of her mouth, my life changed. How is it that easy? How is it that you can make deals with someone to allow them to avoid their charges, the time that they're facing, so that somebody else can go to jail? I don't know, man. I've had many conversations, man, about how I feel. And, you know, I've avoided, you know, coming across as the angry black man who, you know, because no one wants to hear that. Nobody don't want to hear that. They don't want me to be upset. And I tell them, like, I'm not upset at the lady who lied on me because she did what she did, but I am feeling some type of way about these people who are supposed to be fair and impartial, working towards justice. Because even at the point where they offered me a deal, because after I got awarded a new trial, after all the marching and my family fighting and community, they offered me a deal for 7.5 to 15 years. Now this is at a time where I already got, what, 16 years in. So the only thing they're really offering me is the opportunity to walk out of jail right now. You can leave jail right now. As if that's something good. I tell them no, I'm not accepting the deal. They got an attitude. Because most people just take the deal. So it was abnormal for me to be telling them, no, I'm not taking no deal. I'm not accepting that. Something went wrong and it needs to be dealt with. They got mad and told me, okay, this is the way you want to play. So they went out and got another witness, the victim's mom, who had testified previously 3 times that she didn't see anything. I don't know nothing about nothing. It's not that I'm scared. I don't know. They got this woman 17 years later to come into court and positively identify me. These are the type of games that these people are playing with our lives. Because I wouldn't take a deal. 17 years later, oh now, the victim's mom. If the victim's mom could have identified me positively, there's nobody here that I'm willing that can convince me that they wouldn't tell. I don't care what type of threat, anything, you're gonna tell. 17 years later, now all of a sudden, she can identify me. I thought at that point that they should have handcuffed this woman, the district attorney, and anybody else that had anything to do with this case. Somebody should have been handcuffed. Perjury. This woman is committing perjury. But you know what the judge did? He sanctioned it and said, oh yeah, she can testify. They leave it in the hands of the jury. It's up to the jury whether or not they want to believe her or not. Because I won't take a deal. You got conversations going on in the courthouse hallway. Oh, well, he don't want to take the deal, then we're just going to have to find another witness then. How do you just find another witness 17 years later? And these are reputable people that are coming to my family and telling them that. You got victims advocates that are telling the victim's mom, oh yeah, you got to do a little bit more crime because the jury is not believing you. What is going on here? This is what we're up against. How do we change it? How do we stop them from playing gods with our lives? I don't know. I'm in my community trying to make people aware, tell them, listen, when these vote time to vote for these judges and these district attorneys to become judges, you got to get out and vote. I mean, that's your power, but I don't know how to change it. I really don't. But I'm thankful for the people that fought on my behalf. There's no other place I'd rather be than down here, man, making other people aware of what's going on, fighting for everybody that's unjustly incarcerated. But it's an issue. It's something that we really need to deal with as a society.